Well, listen. If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are
Whoopi
wildly
Goldberg has
out of
spent
touch
years
with
ruling
the vast
View like her
majority of
personal
Americans,
kingdom,
and frankly,
shutting
they
down
should
guests,
seek immediate help
steamrolling
because
over
voters
opposing voices, and throwing out her opinions like they were indisputable facts. But everything changed when she met Karoline Leavitt. In just one brutal episode, the queen of daytime TV found herself dethroned in a way no one saw coming. The episode started as usual, full of smug laughter, sarcasm, and the typical left-leaning panel nodding along to whatever was being said. But when Whoopi opened her mouth, the energy in the room shifted. The topic of the day? Wokeness, a concept The View practically treats as gospel, defending it at all costs. Feeling confident, Whoopi decided to take the first shot with her signature smirk.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
She pointed at Karoline and said, "Without wokeness, you wouldn't even have this job." The air in the room went completely still. Even Joy Behar, who built her career on ridiculing conservatives, shifted uncomfortably in her chair. What Whoopi had just done was more than a simple disagreement.
Colleagues, I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time.
That was so good. So good. In a statement afterwards, this young lady claimed her, quote, on-air snub proves that you know who will not be treated fairly in the upcoming debate. Now, do you think this is going to make people doubt whether CNN can stay objective, or is this more the same of, everybody's against me, it's all rigged, I tell you. Is everything rigged?
No, it's their MO. That's what they do. Rachel Maddow said last week, she's like, if the election is lost, it was rigged. If there's a debate, then the modern...
She had dismissed Karoline's entire career, her intelligence, and her work ethic as nothing more than the product of an ideology she opposed. It was a low blow, and the audience could feel it. They clapped along, but Karoline didn't flinch. She didn't get defensive. Instead, she smiled a slow, knowing smile that said, "You just made a huge mistake." And then, with a calm that only comes from knowing you have the facts on your side, Karoline dismantled Whoopi's
the most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS, quite frankly.
Higher argument. The audience was stunned and the internet exploded with reactions. But Karoline's response was just getting started. She began with the numbers, citing government spending reports that showed how taxpayer dollars were funding ridiculous woke projects. From gender studies in Guatemala to foreign Sesame Street programs pushing American activism abroad, she laid it out, making it crystal clear that what was once a movement about fairness had evolved into a political weapon. Wokeness was now being used to silence anyone who dared to think differently. Whoopi, who was used to guests fumbling over their words when challenged, suddenly found herself backed into a corner.
Well, listen. If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on Right. That's what you hear.
Yeah.
When they don't have anything to hold you with. nothing to make you think about what they have to say. They talk at you, not to you. And that's what she was doing. And she was doing it, and it's not new.
No.
But everybody's hip to you all now.
Yeah.
And we are anticipating that you are not prepared. Because you keep saying you going and you preparing when you're on the trail.
Corner. She opened her mouth to respond, then shut it, opened it again. Nothing. The audience, typically quick to cheer on Whoopi's sharp remarks, sat frozen. Even the camera crew seemed hesitant. The cameras zoomed in on Whoopi's stunned face as she realized she had no comeback. Karoline's point hit hard. If wokeness is really about diversity and inclusion, why is it that conservative women are always the ones being attacked? The room went silent. Whoopi was speechless. Even Joy tried to recover with a nervous joke, but the damage had already been done. Whoopi had just done something even she had never done before. She had lost the argument in front of millions of viewers. But this wasn't the first time Whoopi's mouth had landed her in hot water. Over the years, she has turned The View into a lawsuit magnet. From tone-deaf comments about the Holocaust to bizarre defenses of questionable figures, Whoopi has been at the center of some of the show's biggest controversies. But nothing hit. Harder than the recent defamation lawsuits from Carrie Underwood, Elon Musk, and now Karoline Leavitt.
That you saw live on this program yesterday. Joy Behar stirring the pot of controversy after saying this about Karoline.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
Do you want to take this?
So you cannot be attractive and smart? I will try to give Joy the benefit, and well, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing, because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her own.
I mean, you would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Karoline Leavitt before she made that remark. Because Karoline Leavitt worked, I mean, she went to St. Anselm College, she worked for WMUR
Ran for Congress?
In New Hampshire. She ran for Congress at the age of 25, put out a very good campaign. She lost by 8 or 9 points, but she still put on a good campaign. Then she was the press secretary for the Trump campaign, going on TV literally every day.
Well, then, heavily pregnant and a new mom.
Pregnant, yeah, she's a new mother. And then she goes out yesterday and gives an... And this, again, this is speaking very objectively, because I've watched every press secretary since going back to Marlon Fitzwater. Yeah, I'm that old. And she went out there for her very first briefing at the age of 27 years old, the youngest press secretary ever, and did a terrific job of
Let's talk about Carrie Underwood. Whoopi and her co-hosts attacked her mercilessly after she performed at Trump's second swearing-in ceremony. They mocked her, claimed she had destroyed her career, and even suggested she had aligned herself with hate. Underwood, usually one to avoid drama, had had enough.
This young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason, because Black people couldn't get into colleges, because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women.
Yeah.
See, this is not Black, Asian, this is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure that this was a...
She filed a $1 billion defamation lawsuit against The View. When the case went to court, leaked emails revealed something explosive. ABC had planned the attack on Underwood to boost ratings. The lawsuit sent shockwaves through the industry, and ABC ended up paying a massive settlement. Executives started questioning if The View was still worth the trouble. Then came Elon Musk. Whoopi had spent months calling him everything from a dangerous billionaire to a threat to democracy. When she and the other hosts began spreading false claims about Twitter's policies under Musk, he did something no one expected.
Add one last thing. What was interesting to me is Dan Rather weighed in on X, and he said he compared our time now to the Nixon era, which was a little scary for me. But he said, enough with both sides-ism. When one side lies intentionally and repeatedly, they are no longer entitled to the benefit of the doubt.
And we should keep in mind, too, that the people that need to hear this are the people who are running the networks that are okaying this. Because this idea, it's like they say to you now, you can only work within this perimeter. But if the facts are not clear to people, that was what a journalist was there to do, to say, in fact, this is what went on and this is how we checked. Now, we've been given doubts that people don't know how to do this. The media has pretty much always been fake.
He sued. When Musk sues, he doesn't mess around. ABC had to go into damage control mode once again, and whispers started circulating that advertisers were growing tired of The View's constant controversies. And now, Karoline Leavitt had just dealt the final blow. 1 lawsuit was bad. 2 was worse, but 3